What is up, everybody? Jordan here with the Deck Box, coming back to you with another Forbidden Light deck profile. And today we're going to be looking at Ultra Necrozma Metagross. And yes, I know Ultra Necrozma is supposed to go with Malamar. I get it. That's what everyone's saying. That's what they've spoon-fed us this set. I've already done that profile, Ultra Squids, just a little bit ago. Go check it out. And I thought it's good. I really did. I thought it was really, really solid. And then I started to kind of think about it, and I thought, you know, what if Ultra Necrozma gets so good that it brings back Guardy, or it makes Xerneas good, this new Xerneas GX. And really, if Ultra Necrozma becomes like the thing, then those fairy decks could come back and take over, because Ultra Necrozma is a fairy weak Pokemon. And I didn't like that idea, and I thought, you know, is there a good metal Pokemon that we could throw in here to counter that? And there wasn't really anything great unless I were to, I could throw in pretty much any metal Pokemon because there's metal energy in Ultra Squids, as I call it. But I thought, you know, I could kill two birds with one stone. I can get my energy acceleration while also getting my metal weakness. So I decided to try it out with Metagross. I think the list is really solid. I basically kind of built it similar to what a Vika Bulu list would be like. You know, you have this big basic, then you have the stage 2 Pokemon that is the draw support, that is the energy setup, and I think it's really solid. And what I like about it better than Malamar is, with Malamar, Ultra Necrozma would have to be on the bench whenever you're attaching this energy. And I don't like that, because that means the active that I just used the attack on, that I discarded all this energy, has no energy. And it can't just retreat it unless I attach, and I think it has a 2 retreat cost. I'll have to check that in a second. But I have to attach, and then I waste my attachment for turn to get out of there, or I have to play a super heavy Count of Floatstone, and there's just not a ton of room for that because I need to fit all these other cards. And yes, there's Dawnwing's Necrozma, I get it, but again, I still have to play heavy Floatstone plus that card, and I have to guarantee it. It's a Dark Weak Pokemon. I just didn't like it. So I liked Metagross because the concept is I can grab from the discard pile, the same as Malamar, but I put it on the active where it needs to be. And I really, really like that concept. And on top of that, Metagross hits that metal weakness. So if I do come up against a fairy list, whether it's Zoroark, Gardevoir, or if Gardevoir gets big again, or if Xerneas shows up, Metagross has it covered. So I liked that combo, and so I decided to put this list together. And so now we're going to hop into it. I'm super excited to show you guys. I think it's going to be really solid. So starting off with our main Pokemon lines, of course, we do play 3 Ultra Necrozma GXs. And I want to make sure that I read this appropriately because there is math behind it. So, of course, it is a basic 190 HP dragon Pokemon, and the retreat cost is 2. So, yes, I was right about that. And it is Fairy Weak, which I really don't like, because I know Fairy is not huge right now, but it can always crop back up. And we have no problem. We have lists for it. People are ready to go with it if a dragon ever gets out of control. They have their fairies. Looking at the first attack, Photon Geyser for 1 Psychic, 1 Metal, 20 plus damage. Discard all basic Psychic energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 80 more damage for each energy card discarded in this way. So with your first Psychic there, you're guaranteed to swing for 100 with this attack if you just discard that 1 Psychic. If you get 2 Psychic on, so 3 energy attachments, 180. That's what Bulu does, but Bulu has to discard all of its energy. Okay, Choice Band, you're looking at 210. That is a perfect number right now. Like, it does not get better than 210 right now. And if for some reason you come up against a Metagross or another big stage 2 or something like that, just attach another energy and swing for 260. Like, just a crazy, crazy number. And that's without a Choice Band. 260 without a Choice Band. So that's the thing. Like, if I hit the Choice Band, great. If I don't, I just need to get 1 more energy. Like, I have options. I have outs with this card. So it's really, really solid. That 210 is going to be great. The 180 is going to be great. And yeah, it's just going to be a really, really good card just off that first attack. Then looking at the GX attack, Destructive Light GX, this attack can only be used if there are 6 or less total prize cards remaining in play. Place 6 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. You can't use more than 1 GX attack in the game. So this is actually not too bad. If between you and your opponent you have 6 prizes remaining, you can just spread 6 damage counters across the board. So this is great because maybe you're having just a little bit of difficult time getting all the energy to set up to hit, so you can just spread 6 damage across the board and get everyone in range. so you don't have to worry about your choice bands or the extra energy. Or there's the potential that your opponent decides, end of the game, man, I really need to set some stuff back up so I can close this thing out. Well, if they put down a bunch of basics to evolve, that's it. You're just taking your last few prizes with this GX attack. It's insanely good. There's lots of different situations for it. I really like it. I really like the GX attack, but really the main thing is that first attack, and that's what we're going to focus on. That's what this build is driven by, is that GX attack. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Then from there, as I mentioned, we're running Metagross in this list. So we have a 4-1-3 line. 4 Beldum, 1 Metang, and 3 Metagross GX. And the main part of that is Metagross, of course, has a Geotech system. Once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a Psychic or Metal Energy card from your discard pile to your Pokemon, or I'm sorry, to your active Pokemon. So that's our Malamar in this deck, but better, in my opinion. It allows you to attach the Psychic or the Metal, and if for some reason we need Metagross to attack, we have them as an option. Plus, it actually has a really solid GX attack as well. Algorithm GX, search your deck for up to 5 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So if I'm having a rough time setting up and I need some cards, I just use Algorithm and I get my 5 cards. Typically, what we saw in the past with Metagross is if they didn't end you out of those 5 cards, you won the game. Like you would get the cards that you need to get set up and keep moving. So to me, it's a really solid GX attack as an option. It really just depends on your matchup. Moving on from there, some more support Pokemon that I chose to include. Of course, 2 Tapu Lele. That's going to allow us to search for our opening supporters. We do play Bridgets in this deck, and that's what we want our first turn to be. We want to get a Bridget out. If we don't have to use a Lele, that's great, but it's there in case we need it. Guzma's, Sycamore's, Cynthia's, the works. From there, Mew is going to be great to help us hit some Psychic weaknesses, because it's just so much better if I don't have to attach 3 energy. If I can just get 2 energy attached onto one Pokemon, I'm really happy with that, because I'd be swinging for 100, which of course against a Buzzwole is a solid 200 damage with that weakness, so they're knocked out. So it's great to have Mew. It's a 1 prize attacker, so I'm giving up 1 prize for 2, which is really great. And on top of that, we do of course play against decks that have Pokemon that we can't attack if we're an EX or GX, which of course I mean Hoopa or like a Baby Ninetales, something like that. So we do play Mew for that reason. And I also play Lunala, not really for that reason, but it could be if we needed it to. But really just for that first attack, Full Moon Star. For each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, attach a Psychic Energy card from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. So this is there to help me set up some energy, either early on, whenever I don't have a bunch of Metagross set up, but I have Lunala out, I can do that real quick just to make sure I can keep things going. Or if it's late game and my Metagrosses are gone, or I need to set up multiple Pokemon at once, I can do that with Lunala and I'm good to go. And then of course it has Psystorm for 4 Psychic. This attack does 20 damage for the amount times the amount of energy attached to all Pokemon, which that's actually really solid. If you think about it, a lot of decks using a lot of energy right now, and with Metagross being able to accelerate that Psychic Energy, we can attach all the Psychic Energy to Lunala and just swing for massive amounts of damage, especially if it's against a Psychic weak deck. So I think including those 2 in this is really solid. Next, moving on to supporters, we do play 1 Professor Sycamore, 2 N, and 3 Cynthia, which I know seems slightly low with this deck not having additional draw supporters, but I feel like that's appropriate. It should do fine for us to be able to set things up. We do play Skyla as well to get our rare candies. So really these guys are just to kind of keep digging through, finding some more energy, finding our Pokemon and things like that. Then our other supporters, 3 Guzma, of course that's to be able to take the knockouts that we want to take. There's nothing worse than having to take 1 prize when you know you can take 2. And if I can use Guzma to get something out to take 2 prizes, then I'm going to do it. Then we play 2 Bridgets because we do want to get our Beldums out there as quickly as possible to set things up, along with our Ultra Necrozmas. We need the Ultra Necrozma out there. We need a couple Beldum going so that we can get our Metagross by turn 2. That's really the goal. And then we do play Skyla. This is for a couple reasons. One, we can search out our ball our ball searches. We can search out our rare candies, things like that. And of course, if we're super desperate, we could always use it to find a supporter for the next turn, which really that's like last resort. Moving on to our items. So this is the crazy part of this list too. With the Ultra Squids list I did 4 Mystery Treasures because every Pokemon on that deck was Psychic or Dragon. And Mystery Treasure is essentially Ultra Ball, but you only have to discard 1 energy. Or, one card. So that was my replacement for Ultra Ball. In this list, I thought, you know what? I'm going to use my Lele's to get my Bridgets, to get my Beldums out, so I don't need that. And then, I have to find rare candies, so I'm just going to use Heavy Ball to get my Metangs, to get my Metagrosses, and I'll use my Mystery Treasures to get my Lele's, my Ultra Necrozmas, my Mew, my Lunala. So the Heavy Balls are for the Metagross line, and the Mystery Treasures are for the other Pokemon. And I would definitely be okay with upping the Heavy Ball line to just a straight 4 Heavy Ball, 4 Mystery Treasure, and that may be something I consider in the future. But for now, I want to consider this and just give it a try. So no Ultra Ball on this list. That is one thing that is very, very different from many Pokemon decks. And then moving on, some more items. We have 3 Field Blower, 1 Rescue Stretcher, and 4 Rare Candy. Field Blower, pretty obvious. We rely on our abilities, and if we can't use them because of Garbodor, we just kind of lose. We have a really tough time getting things set up, and it kind of ruins our whole game for us. From there, we do play 1 Rescue Stretcher. This is, of course, to get any of our Pokemon back that may be knocked out. So if we're playing against like a Buzzwole deck, we want to make sure we can get our Mew back, or potentially our Lunala. And then, of course, getting our Metagross pieces back could be very important if we have to dump some early on. Or, of course, if a Beldum gets knocked out early, Rescue Stretcher would be great to get it back to keep things rolling. Then, of course, Rare Candy. That's going to set up our Metagross. Like I said, we're running this a lot like a Vikabulu list, aside from playing the Metang, whereas in a Vikabulu list, you really don't see Charjabug in there much. I chose to play the Metang because it could potentially also be a main attacker in a matchup if it's a fairy deck that you're going against. From there, we do run 3 Choice Band. That, of course, like I said, allows us to hit that 210, and that's really, really important in the current meta, so we have to make sure to play those. And then we also have B-String, and again, I want to make sure I read this appropriately because I don't want to misspeak when it comes to the words. So you may only play this card when your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy, reveal them, and attach them to one of your Ultra Beast Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. So Ultra Necrozma is an Ultra Beast. It's kind of in the name. So this B-String allows us at one point in the game, or a couple points in the game, to just go into our deck, grab 2 energy, and attach them. That is huge, especially if we can get this off twice, between the 3 and 4 prize card mark, which that's a point where your opponent can't skip around. They can't go from 5 to 3 and be good and hit and miss the 4. They can't go from 4 to 2 and miss the 3 and be okay. It's one of those 2. They're really not going to be able to miss that unless they play some sort of spread deck that takes like multiple knockouts at once, which isn't like a huge part of our meta right now. So 3 or 4 prizes, that's solid. That's a nice point in the game. You're already kind of set up a little bit, and this just pushes you over the edge, and you should potentially have 2 Ultra Necrozma set up at the same time, maybe even 3, depending on how your setup has gone so far. So this is an amazing, amazing card that you should definitely play if you're playing some sort of Ultra Beast deck. From there, we're looking at our energy. We do run 8 Psychic Energy. That is going to be the core of what we're discarding when we attack. 4 Metal Energy, of course, we do have to have that initial Metal Energy to get started. Otherwise, we can't attack. Plus, Metagross could use it if he needs to attack as well. And then we do run 1 Beast Energy. This is something I keep forgetting to mention. If for some reason we miss the Choice Band, but we have Beast Energy, then that's swinging for 210 because it does 30 damage in addition to whatever the base attack is. Now the downside is, I think if you're counting this as one of your Psychic, you would have to discard it, so it's kind of gone. So if you're going to use the Beast Energy, you need to make sure that it's your Metal, and then from there you add Psychic, and that way the Beast Energy can stay on, do the additional 30 damage, plus the Choice Band doing an additional 30 damage, it could really stack up really well. So you could potentially have 3 energy attached, Beast Energy, 2 Psychic, allowing you to swing for 210, Choice Band 240, so you're one-shotting things like Decidueye very easily, or Gardevoir, things like that. So really, really solid having that Beast Energy in there. And we run 13 energy, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get those energy out, to get them in your discard pile, and then get them attached to your Pokemon. And then here is the list for you guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. I certainly am looking forward to building this deck. Like I said, I'll be doing these the first week that the set comes out online. I'm going to go and get all the cards I can online, and we're just going to build these decks and see if they work out for us. So as usual, guys, please be sure to hit me up on social media, and as usual, if you've enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like. Let me know in the comments if you just decided to try this or what you think of it. And as usual, if you're new or if you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to do that. I would really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time here in the deck box, where I want to know what's in your box. Have a great night, guys.